So good afternoon. Today we are going to have class of confocal microscopy. In confocal microscopy, first we will see the introduction and history of confocal microscopy. The concept of confocal microscopy was initially developed by Marvin Minsky in 1950 at Harvard University. The aim of developing confocal microscopy was to view the neural network of cell without staining the tissue. But due to lack of proper light source and proper data storage computerized system, this attempt was failed. The work was later attempted by or adapted by David Igler M and Mosley Patron, where they developed a multiple beam confocal microscope in 1960. They used a spinning disc known as NIPCO, which they used to examine unstained brain tissue and ganglion cells. The technique was later modified and published by Igler, forming a mechanical scanned confocal laser microscope that was able to visualize the cell. The first commercial confocal microscope was developed in 1987, which was much improved optics, electronics, powerful scanning system, and the scanning efficiency was very high. In this microscope, laser was used as a source of light. The principle of confocal microscope is, when we will see the previous class of fluorescence microscopy, in fluorescence microscopy the source of light was xenon or argon lamp, xenon lamp or mercury lamp. So यहाँ से light was emitting from the light source, then there was a excitation filter here. This is called excitation filter. Then we have a dichromic. This was a dichromic mirror. So when the light was passing through the excitation filter, coming to the dichromic mirror, and then reflected light was reaching to the point of sample, and the whole sample was getting illuminated by this light source, and then the wavelength of this light coming and touching to the sample was short wavelength and high energy, but the reflected light was of longer wavelength and less energy, and finally it was reaching to detector, and we were able to see the image. This was fluorescence microscope. So we have excitation filter here, and before detector also we have emission filter here. This is called emission filter, and here the light source was xenon or mercury light, and whole sample was getting light. So the light was emitting from the whole sample, and we were able to see the whole sample at a whole as a complete. The problem with this was the major problem was we were not able to detect which part of the cell is actually giving the light. So to overcome this, confocal microscope was developed. Normally, when we talk about the wide field microscope, a source of light or the different wavelength of light reaches to the sample. Hence, and whole sample emit the light. Therefore, we got the image, but the image is usually fuzzy, murky, crowded image. Hence, the confocal microscope, which was laser based, was able to give very specific image with three-dimensional image. The wide field fluorescence, the whole specimen, this is the most important point. In laser, in confocal microscopy, instead of mercury and arc lamp, we are using laser. And at excitation filter, we have aperture or pinholes, which allow a very specific narrow beam of light or laser, and this will go and hit very specific part of the cell which we want to see. Then the reflected light is coming back, and then before detector also there is a aperture called pinhole. This pinhole and this pinhole both control the stray light, means the laser which we don't want will be eliminated at 2 points. At the first point when light is emitting, and the second when object after refracting, or when object is emitting the light, if there is any stray light, this pinhole will eliminate and we will get the image of what we want to see. So in this case also fluorochrome is used to stain the sample. So we used to get a very contrasting and multicolor sample. One of the best point of this, here we are keeping the sample at the focal point. So plane of focus, which is called plane of focus, the sample is placed at plane of focus and we are getting the image. We are getting the 3D image. Another benefit of this microscope is we got the 3D image. It takes the image in 3-dimensional time. How? We will see now. Actually there are two oscillating mirrors connected to it, which will move. Suppose we have a sample over here, and this is x-axis and this is y-axis. There are two oscillating mirrors, movable mirrors, connected to galvanometer motors. Galvanometer motors, which will automatically move this high-speed oscillating mirror. So one mirror, so when sample has to scan, one will move in this direction, another will move in this direction. So both mirror will move in x and y direction simultaneously, and they will come back to the original place. So while they are coming back, they will not collect any data either from x-axis or y-axis. So when they are scanning only, data is collected. So there is less chance or no chance of fuzzy image. So by this way we are able to get the 3D image, and the coming back to the origin of oscillating mirror is called the flyback. So this is the principle of confocal microscopy. Parts of confocal microscopy include, like other microscopy, here we have extra 2 pinholes. So it includes objective lens, out of focus plane, beam splitter, detector, confocal pinholes, laser and oscillator mirrors, which is connected to the galvanometer. Then there are different type of confocal microscope, which include confocal laser scanning microscope, which we mostly use in our laboratory. Then we have a spinning disc. It uses several movable aperture or pinholes. Then we have dual spinning disc, confocal microscope, programmable array microscope, and so on. So based on the requirement, we use the confocal microscopy. Now what is the application of confocal microscopy? There are several applications of confocal microscopy, which include biomedical sciences, cell biology, genetics, microbiology, nanoscience, and quantum physics. In biomedical sciences, it uses the analysis of eye corneal infection. Whenever there is an eye corneal infection, particularly fungal infection, this microscope is used. Then it is also used in pharmaceutical industry to ensure the maintenance of thin film. For quality and uniform drug distribution in pharmaceutical company, it uses a retroactive data for some 3D storage system. This has helped in quantifying the age of papyrus. There is an advantage. The advantage is, first advantage is the multidimensional. We are getting the image of multidimensional, means 3D image, x, y and z dimension image we are able to get for the first time. In fluorescence microscopy, we were not able to get the 3D image. It has better resolution, better contrast, and point of interest is visualized only. No other part is visualized. It can be used to study live and fixed cell both, and it illuminates uniformly. And as we move the laser, accordingly we can see the image. It generates 3D image. However, there are some limitations which include the laser has a life. So, and hence it generating laser light is a costly business, and the whole process installation and working with confocal microscopy maintenance and all is bit costly. So it is bit costly first, and high intensity laser irradiation is harmful for living cell and the tissue. Finally, high cost of purchasing and operating multi-laser confocal microscope system often limits the implementation in a smaller laboratories. Last but not the least, in fluorescence microscopy, very thin cells we were able to see very thin cells or thin specimen. However, in case of confocal microscopy, we are using the laser light. So by moving the laser or adjusting the laser beam, we can see the sample present at different depth in the specimen. What we want to see, accordingly we can fix the laser. So here thickness is not a problem like fluorescence microscope. So this is all for the today for confocal microscopy. So thank you so much.